And it's Thursday, February 9th, and I call the Committee on Public Infrastructure and Technology meeting to order. I would like to welcome Vice Chair Say, as well as Councilmember Tolba, and we have Councilmember Dos Santos Tam with us today. Councilmember Wire is excused pursuant to Act 220, Session Laws of Hawaii 2021. This meeting will be conducted as remote meeting by interactive conference technology with the following procedures in effect for the meeting. Members of the public will be allowed to provide oral testimony on all items. Long story short, we don't have any testifiers. Written testimonies, including the testifier's address, email address, and phone number, will be available to the public. As a courtesy, please turn off all your cell phones for the duration of this meeting. For action, item number 1, Resolution 2247. This resolution requests the City Administration to provide an update to the Council on the City's plans and efforts to assist Seagull Schools in relocating the Early Education Center. Prior to this, I wanted to see if I could get if there are any additional testifiers that have logged on. I know we didn't have any on the sheet. Clerk, are there any testifiers?
Chair, there are none.
Are there any testifiers in the chambers wishing to testify on Resolution 2247? This is in regards to Seagull Schools. No? Okay. Thank you so much. Welcome, Councilmember Wire. Glad to have you here today. And we are going to move on to the administration if they want to share anything. Council members, I'm sure you've gone over this. I do believe we have Haku Miles, Director Designee DDC. Why don't you go ahead and just run us down on what's going on with this resolution?
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, council members. Haku Miles with the Department of Design and Construction. Here to provide an update of our construction and conversion of Mission Memorial and the Municipal Reference Center to an early education center. We were able to move out the occupants, city employees from those facilities to third floor of FMB and have begun some environmental remediation hazmat work in the reference center itself. We're working towards completion of the design in the next few weeks. I believe we should go out to bid in March for that actual, what would be renovation work so that the preschool can operate out of those two buildings. That's kind of where we stand right now. But happy to answer any questions if you have anything specific that you're curious about.
Okay, council members, any questions? If you need time to think, go ahead. I'm just going to ask a few. So currently right now, it's the Seagull School is right above our parking lot. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And so they've been held over in their contract to remain there until this is completed, what you're mentioning about where they'll be relocated.
As I understand, yes, but that's not our role. I would defer to...
As far as tenancy.
Yeah, so I don't think I can comment on that. As I understand, they were extended till August. That is the anticipated date of completion for the renovation work in order for a school to operate out of those two facilities.
And so what you're saying is the update you just shared about Mission Memorial, you think will be completed by August?
That is the target date that we were given, correct.
And is it renovations and no full construction as far as what you guys are doing?
No, I mean, it's really preparing the space to operate a preschool out of Mission Memorial and the Municipal Reference Center. So there was just some work that needed to be done.
Just on the inside then, nothing
Correct,
major?
Only on the inside.
Okay, that's a little bit more realistic, I guess, as far as August is concerned. Okay, council members, any other questions? If you've ever heard children playing above the parking lot, that's the school we're talking about. Go ahead, Councilmember Wire.
Mahalo, Chair. Thank you for being here, Director. Just quickly, about how long does it take, or how long is the bid process for construction projects?
So construction itself is going to take a couple of phases. So first we have the hazmat remediation that has to kind of clean out the inside of the reference center itself. Because it was a very aggressive schedule, we separated out the two projects so that we could get those designs and permits approved ahead of time and begin that work. And that's why we're still working to complete the design right now.
Okay. So about how long has this process been going on?
I think we began in the fall of last year.
Okay. So it's a little more complicated because it's mitigation and remediation, or?
It's a very difficult project with the work that needs to be done, as well as the accelerated schedule, yes.
Okay. So a simpler project like permeable walkways or something might be faster to bid out, like say in Haleiwa, for example, or?
Yeah, so the bidding process, it really depends on the difficulty of the project, how much work needs to go into the design, and then we work with BFS to get the project out to bid. Depending on the difficulty, we can allow for time for contractors to put together their bids and provide us with a number. I believe we have set aside a month of allowing the contractors to put together their bids for this project. For the Haleiwa walkway project, I'm not sure, but I can get back to you on what we would anticipate. That design has not yet been completed, but we are working hard to resolve all of those issues.
Okay, appreciate that, Director. Of course, all just hypothetical, but mahalo, Chair.
No problem. Valid questions. Council members, any other questions for Director Designate? Okay, thank you, Mr. Millis. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
The chair recommends that Resolution 2247 be reported out for adoption. Is there any further discussion? Any objections? Any reservations? Hearing none, so ordered. Let's move on to item number 2. Resolution 23-4. This resolution accepts ownership of the EVA portion of Waimanu Street deemed to have been surrendered to the City and County of Honolulu by the State Hawaii pursuant to the amended administrative order issued by the State Director of Transportation in accordance with Act 208-2017, codified as Hawaii Revised Statutes 264-21. On the paper, I didn't see any registered testifiers, but Clerk, are there any online waiting to testify for this item?
There are none, Chair.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone in the council chambers wanting to testify on this item? Seeing none, I want to defer some time to Councilmember Dos Santos Tam, as this is your district. Please proceed.
Thank you. The purpose of this resolution is to correct an issue with the map that was on Resolution 20-334 when we accepted ownership of Waimanu Street. On that map, only the portion of Waimanu Street up to Dreyer Street was illustrated and colored in. On this map, as you'll see in Exhibit A, it takes all of Waimanu Street all the way to the end beyond Dreyer Street. So we're dealing with a very short stretch of Waimanu Street at the end, and the purpose of this resolution is to clarify that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Members, if you're confused on where this is, it's parallel to Kapi'olani Boulevard, very close to the Blaisdell. So I'm guessing council member, the previous map maybe had like a little portion of the cul-de-sac, and this has like a full block.
It's the cul-de-sac that was missing, yeah. So on this one, it has a full thing.
Noticed. This is one of my favorite discussions, abandoned roads. I know, Director Morton, it's not yours, but I want to call up the Director of Department of Transportation Services to see if he has any comment or wants to share. Press the button.
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the committee. The administration has no issues with this resolution. We're in accord with the resolution.
Perfect. Council members, any questions for the director while he's here? Go ahead, Councilmember Tolba.
What is the condition on the road, and what would the city do to, if we do, expand on money to get the road up to city standards?
In this case, the road has already been accepted up to Dreyer. So really all we're accepting is the little remnant piece of the cul-de-sac. So the roads are in poor shape. We are hoping to work with the state of Hawaii to have them assist us in funding the upgrade of the streets with a combination of federal and state funding.
Okay, Councilmember Wire, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. And mahalo, Director, for being here. I was just curious if you could outline what the analysis is in situations where roads are going to be accepted that maybe aren't up, to code and everything they need to be.
Generally, our policy on private roads is that city will accept them when they're brought up to city standards. There are, from time to time, there are exceptions. And from time to time, the state exercises its prerogatives to transfer them over to us. But our general policy is we accept roads when they're, private roads when they meet city standards.
Okay, so sounds like there's no specific analysis to say this exception or that exception.
Now, definitely, there would be inspections lasting several months to make sure that a street was up to standard. Usually, it's a subdivision that gets deeded over to the city.
Yeah.
That's normally what happens.
Yeah. Or sorry, exception rather. So like, for example, there's no policy that says if there's like a public safety risk or issue that maybe suggests that it's in the best interest of the public to take over a road or a bridge or something like that.
There are instances where the city could assert its power.
Okay, mahalo. Yeah.
Thank you so much, council member. And I just wanted to make mention that this road went from a, disputed road into a surrendered road, which isn't always the case for all of our roads. But if you guys want to bring a list of your roads, I actually want to have a whole hearing on roads that need to be acquired, because I definitely think in all of our districts, we all have ones that we're still like, why are we still fighting over this? Why is no one over it? That would be fun, right, Director? A whole hearing about it.
Thank you.
He loves it. He loves his job. Okay, any other questions? Go ahead, Councilmember Say.
Director Morton, I'm just concerned because, we're accepting more and more from HCDA. That's the Hawaii Community Development Authority. And if you could correct me if I'm wrong, was this particular area the tenants not supporting the improvement district 4 or 5, meaning they did not want to participate with the authority in the redevelopment of that particular area? And if it is, shouldn't it be the responsibility of the authority to make the request to the legislature, we need these monies now to improve that particular area? I bring this up because I'm worried, and I shared this with the other members the past 2 days. I don't believe it's no one's fault here in regards to the Halikawila. That's part of your road too, that stormwater culvert. And we're going to be spending $25 million, and I didn't ask Mr. Millis the question, where's that $25 million coming from in the operating budget? I do not want to see projects that we have appropriated funds for be deferred in expense of this type of issues that are happening with the authority. That is the concern. I also did write a letter, Madam Chair and members, to the state senators and state representatives that they should meet us at least halfway in the total cost of this. I don't know if it's a replacement, a repair of the sinkhole on Halikawila. That total, what we read in the paper, was $25 million. We didn't appropriate that kind of funds for this particular problem that we're facing today. Would you folks be open in a provision of some language later on that we will take over the road if the city would meet us, at 80% of what the cost is? Because once we take over, we will be held responsible. We will be held liable. I'm happy I'm bringing this up because I hope my colleagues across the street understand what the city is going through also. So in closing, the more we accept, the more we're deferring other roads that we have in our budget that we wanted DTS or DFM or DTC to take care of. So that's where I'm just coming from, that nobody wants to question the decisions that the state agency may be making, but I think we should. We should not be afraid, like this morning's meeting that we had also in regards to SMA and shoreline, shoreline setback. Because I am concerned that we're just picking up more and more of the services that the state should be doing also. And that's all I'm saying. But, I don't know what to do, that's why.
Thank you so much. I'm not sure if that was a question. Maybe he just wanted you to take it in. I would say, though, that my recent conversations with Ed Sniffen at the state, he's done speed bumps for me in the neighborhoods. He's done a lot of the cleanest on the street. And his perspective is that all the county streets are in essence serving the same constituents as the state is. So I'm sure Director Morton can testify to that Ed's been as helpful as he can be and is actually willing to help more. I don't know if you wanted to talk on that, but...
Well, just to say, I'm in total agreement with that Director Sniffen has been a good partner for the city and continues to be, and we look forward to working with him over the next few years to try to, and also that I do share Councilmember Say's concern that these streets add, I mean, from the public's point of view, streets are streets, whether they're state or whether they're city.
Agreed. And I do think, council members, if you were to bring any list of streets, I do also think like a priority order would be good. Because like council members said, we don't want to just absorb everything, but which ones can the state help out with? Which ones do federal overlapping funds can help us? How do we go about doing this? Because I think there are ones, especially on the North Shore, where it's more of a safety issue than anything, where it's not that we want to incur the cost, but we are going to incur the liability regardless because of the condition of the road. So thank you so much, Director. Council members, any other questions? DFM, you guys want to say anything? It's okay. Tyler's like, no, don't call me. On a different day, we'll have a DFM discussion about roads. Okay, council members, if there's no further comments on this, Chair recommends that Resolution 23-4 be reported out for adoption. Any further discussion, objections, reservations? Hearing none, so ordered. Mahalo everyone for your attendance and participation today. There being no further business, this meeting is adjourned.